Hello everyone, an interesting video today. I'm going to be going downtown for showings, and I'm going to be seeing some 2-bedroom units for a buyer of mine who's not here right now. He's currently overseas. He's a longtime client and he wants me to go see some units on his behalf. And I thought, since he's not tagging along, why not bring you guys? Make it like a mini Toronto real estate vlog. I don't really do vlogs on this channel, more so property tours and market updates and all that jazz. But, you know, I thought, why not try something new? All right, guys, so here we are in the first unit. It is a 2-bedroom, 1-washroom for $705,000. That's the asking price in 95 Lombard, which is a older building. But the first thing you notice when you walk into the unit is the floor to ceiling windows, which is not that common for older buildings. Now, of course, with the floor to ceiling windows, you're kind of sacrificing a lack of a balcony. But as you can see here, the floor to ceiling windows is very, very scenic. I mean, you have, you know, anything from the heritage sites of the church right there to, you know, newer buildings. Of course, we should recognize those buildings from this channel. And then your main intersection you're looking onto, which, you know, some sound will travel, is Jarvis and Adelaide, as you see right there. Now, there are a couple of factors that lead me to believe that this was not originally a 2-bedrooms, and I think the owners who are selling this converted this into a 2-bedroom. First and foremost, as you can see here, the primary bedroom, it looks pretty good, right? It looks pretty bright. It naturally bleeds in terms of layout. However, as you can see, it takes up all the window space, right? And the wall, right, where the headboard of the primary bedroom's bed would go against, that wall is separating the primary and the second bedroom. And that small window you see there is going to be the source of natural light for the second bedroom. And this, along with the fact that this, you know, unit only has 1 washroom, which is not that atypical for older buildings, but for this building, 95 Lombard, I took a look at other 2-bedroom listings. The proper 2 bedrooms actually have 2 washrooms. Here, you see this is the second bedroom, and that is going to be the only source of light for the second bedroom. So it leads me to believe that these guys just put up the wall to make it a 2-bedroom, to convert it to a 2-bedroom, for lack of a better word, when it wasn't a 2-bedroom. But other than that, you know, it's renovated pretty decently. I mean, you have the kitchen here, right? This is all new, the fridge, the backsplashes and all that. But to me, the main value proposition of this one is this view that you get, especially in the fall. I mean, it looks pretty good in the fall. I hope the camera is able to pick some of that up. And one of the things any prudent seller has to understand about today's market, and these are conversations I'm having with sellers all the time myself, is the fact that right now, older units and older buildings are staying on market for a longer period of time, right? And that has nothing to do with the quality of the unit or quality of the building, right? It more so has to do with the maintenance fee. Because in high interest rate environments, people who are relying on a significant degree of financing, so honestly, anything less than 30%, even if you're buying with 20%, you still need a lot of financing. Well, for those buyers out there, a higher maintenance is a little bit harder to stomach in today's market. That's not to say buildings with higher maintenance will not sell. It's just they're gonna have a harder time selling, and they're probably gonna stay on market for a longer period of time. Now, one of the things I'm enjoying about today's showings is because, as I said, my client is not with me, so I actually get to walk between buildings, which whenever I work with downtown Toronto condo buyers, obviously my client's comfort is priority. So if they're more comfortable for me to drive them around or for them to meet me at the units, then that's what we're gonna do. But if it was in my ideal world, it's actually far more efficient for downtown Toronto condo showings to walk in between buildings. You actually get between buildings that might be, you know, let's say 2 kilometers in distance. You might actually get there faster if you walk between your showings as opposed to if you drive. And trust me, from experience, I can tell you that some of the best, most efficient showings where we hit 8 to 10 units in a day occurred in the summertime. With some of my condo buyers, we saw as many as possible by walking between the buildings. So since the beginning of COVID, whenever I've done downtown Toronto condo showings, I've been seeing a lot more of this happening, which is what you see behind me. Basically, retail offered for lease or office space offered to release. This has become way more common since COVID really kicked in. All right, so we're on our way to the next condo building, which is 126 Simcoe. Simcoe Street actually low-key has some really, I would say, average to great buildings on it. Well, obviously we're gonna go see 126 Simcoe, but mainly I have in mind here buildings such as 140 Simcoe Street, 210 Simcoe Street. And one of the reasons I'm a big fan of, for instance, let's say 140 Simcoe, is that other than a couple of complaints I might have against it, it's a pretty affordable, pretty family-friendly building, and the location is fantastic. And it's only like a 45-second to a minute walk from Osgood Station, right? Although it does have some problems, there have been some homeless encampments around 140 Simcoe famously. I made a TikTok about it, so go check that out. All right, this is definitely disappointing. My client will not like this whatsoever. Even if he did, I would not recommend it because it's just far too small. I mean, take a look at the size here. This is all you really have in terms of living and dining, and basically what remains is just the corridor as you see from the front entrance door. And you'd be surprised how much of a difference, for instance, this tint of blue makes on how it shows to a buyer, right? Thinking from the seller's perspective, if I was the listing agent of this property, especially in a down market, I'd recommend a fresh new paint job for this unit. Now, maybe it's not picking up the blue as much as it appears, but this is, I would have to say, kind of an ugly shade of blue. For a second, consider the fact that this is listed higher than the first unit we saw. The first unit was listed at $705,000. This is listed in the 730s. And it's quite evident that it was tenanted because first and foremost, it's vacant. Most vacant units downtown you'll find were previously tenanted. And secondly, it just doesn't seem as if the occupants took the best care of this unit. On the plus side though, it does have 2 washrooms, right? The first unit had only 1 washroom for 2 bedrooms. As I discussed, I think it's because the first unit was an actual converted unit. Originally, it was not a 2-bedroom. They converted it into 2 bedrooms. Here they actually have 2 washrooms, which is a plus. But all in all, so far, nothing that my clients would like. Actually, one last thing I'll say about this unit is that the ceilings are pretty high. I'm not sure, once again, if this is gonna do a good job of showing it. The ceilings are really high. There is potential here. I mean, you can't really do much about the layout, but fresh coat of paint, finished and smooth out the ceilings, no more popcorn ceilings. This unit will show much better than it's currently showing right now. It's been on the market for 44 plus days. By the way, that building you see right there with the red balconies, I've talked a lot about that building in my videos in the past, 215 Queen Street West. It's a very fascinating building. Fascinating in the sense that it's such a hit or miss building. I have a very hard time making up my mind about it in terms of what I think. Really, in this building, it comes down to a unit by unit basis. The studios here actually have pretty good yields in terms of price per square foot and rent per square foot. But other than that, it's a really compact building. Maybe I'll do a more extensive review on my channel. Let me know if you guys want me to do that. By the way, coincidentally, this is the aforementioned 140 Simcoe, which I'm a big fan of. Has its downsides, but I think overall, for a cheaper building, it's pretty good in terms of safety, family friendly, and the tenants who rent there typically work in the hospitals, right? The hospitals are right across the street on University. All right, guys, that's all you get to see for today because I'm on my way to the 3rd and last showing, but I'm kind of running late. The battery's kind of running low. And as much as I love to create informative real estate content, at the end of the day, I prioritize my clients over you guys. No offense. And if you were curious, the next building we're gonna go see right now, which you won't get to see, unfortunately, will be a unit in 600 Fleet, which is a building I'm kind of mixed on. We'll see how the unit is. Anyways, as always, this is Sam from SaberiSixRealEstate and Remax Realtron Realty Inc. This was a new type of video for me. Let me know if you guys enjoy this type of video. Should I do more of this or less of this? And yeah, that's it. Subscribe, comment, rate, and review. My contact information in the description box. And feel free to shoot away with any questions you may have.